Hello, I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest YouTube video. This is video number 3 in our 10-minute journal pages series. And the aim of these is for us to be able to put down the creative elements within about 10 minutes-ish. I'm going to be keeping my supplies really simple today. I'm using a dotted flex book. I'm going to be using 2 different coloured brush pens. These are Tombow ABTs in 098 and 526. Any brush pens or any colours would be fine. I'm using some washi tape for masking, so I'd recommend not using your favourite washi because we're going to be peeling this off. And I've also got a different pen for adding my quote, and this is a Tombow Fudnosuke brush pen with a firm nib. And thank you again for all of your kind words on my previous 2 videos. I'm so pleased you're enjoying them, and I'd love to hear what you think of this video too. So the first thing I'm going to do is use some washi tape to create a backing area for using the brush pens. And I'm not worried particularly about the actual size. I just want to put the washi tapes kind of roughly equal from top to bottom in each side, but I'm really not going to spend any time kind of counting or worrying too much. I'm just kind of judging roughly where I want them. And I put these down firmly-ish, but I don't press them too tightly down because I want to be able to remove them, hopefully without too much bother. And it's not like when you're adding masking for watercolour where you really do want to make sure those edges are tightly down. Okay, so I've now got the masked area that I'm going to work within. And really simply, I am just going to be adding lines using my brush pens. And I have to say, having a dotted journal is certainly very helpful for this. And I'm just taking it right up to the edge of the washi tape. And I do find that it's not essential to have the washi tape there, but for me, I just find it gives me some really nice, neat edges. And I wouldn't worry if you have to lift your hand a little bit like I have, because we're going to be adding some lines going all the way across as well. So you'll probably find that they'll be pretty much disguised. As I mentioned in one of the other videos, I've heard from quite a few people that they want to add those creative elements, but that's sometimes the stumbling block because it's just finding the time or coming up with ideas. So I'm just really hoping this series will give you lots of ideas to play around with and just to use as kind of a starting point. Because you could draw a circle, you wouldn't be able to probably put the washi tape around it, or a diamond, a triangle, something like that, and just play around with different shapes and patterns, but just using this same technique. And the journal prompt that I'm going to be inviting you to consider and write about in your journal is, what do you find calming? I found recently actually that things that are quite repetitive are really calming for my mind. So something like this is great, just doing lots of straight lines. I've been doing quite a lot of doodling in my sketchbook. I've been sharing some of the pages from that over on Instagram. I'm Journal with Purpose over there. I've also been doing quite a lot of slow stitching. And again, I think just the repetitive nature of doing lots of the same stitches over and over again, it's just been really, really good for my mind. And particularly actually if I find it frustrating when I first settle down and just think, oh goodness, I'm just going to be doing the same patterns over and over again, or the same stitches over and over again. Actually, that's when my mind most needs to calm down. So now I'm turning my journal page to the side, and I can just about see the other dots underneath. So I'm just doing exactly the same thing again. And plenty of my lines are wonky, and it really won't matter at all. I did something similar to this, which I think I shared over on Patreon, probably a month or so ago now, using different colours. Use some really kind of bright summery colours. So definitely feel free to kind of play around with it, tie it in with different seasons. We're coming up to one of my favourite times of year for colour, with autumn, and that definitely always gets reflected in my journal pages. If you decide to create the pages and you are on Instagram, I would love you to share them over there, tag me in the post so that I can share them as well. And also, I'd love to know what you find calming. I also find baking quite calming, as long as it's going well. I tried out a new recipe over the weekend of seeded soda bread, and that turned out well, and it was just quite nice and methodical. So again, I found that calming. It wasn't anything too technical involved. As long as I measured out the ingredients well, it worked fine. Definitely some of my lines have got a bit wobblier as I've got down the page, which is absolutely fine. With your washi tape, when you come to peel it away, if you find that it looks like it might tear your paper, I would recommend gently heating it with a heat tool or hairdryer. Another thing you can do with washi tape is to just dab it on your clothing before you pop it down. Just having a little bit of fluff on it stops it sticking quite so well to your page, but it can also give you a slightly fluffy edge. Okay, so I'm on my last line. So really quick and simple, but I just think it looks so effective. So I'm now going to gently peel my washi tape away. I often peel it off slightly to the side. I find for some reason that helps it not to stick so much to my pages. If I have some little tears in the paper, I don't tend to worry too much about that. Okay, so that one's come off really nicely, and I'll just take the other three away as well. So I'm really pleased with how that's looking. You've got those nice neat edges where I've peeled the washi tape away. So I'm going to add my quote now and my date. They're quite dark colours, so I'm not quite sure how well the quote is going to stand out, but hopefully if I do thick enough lines it should be okay. When the fire is burnt to ash, say goodbye and I'll be on my way. Gather wood, light the fire, hypnotized by blue and amber flame. Pour the wine, raise
raise a glass, toast to memory, call to mind again.
So I've added the quote, "Do not let the behaviour of others destroy your inner peace," by the Dalai Lama. And I did one similar here. You can see the quote shows up a lot better because it's paler colours. I then used those same pens to add some flowers on this side, which is definitely an option, but it will obviously take you a little bit longer. Because I'm going for kind of speed to keep things nice and simple for us, I'm just going to add a couple of these stickers from London Gifties Pet Tape. And I often do this because I just find it feels a little bit less intimidating to write on if I've already got some kind of lovely creative elements there to write around. To me, opening a journal and having 2 blank pages can often feel like a little bit of pressure, and I like to take that off. Well, as always, I'll add my journal writing and then leave a photo just right at the end of this video so that you can see what they look like when they're all complete. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you're doing well. As always, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon. Well, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.
Light the fire, hypnotized by blue and amber flame. Pour the wine, raise a glass, toast to memory.